The crowned one.
The crowned one.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Glad to have you back here at the Crown One. And I came across this article here. It's talking about Ubisoft could possibly be getting sued from its shareholders with, quote, accusations of misleading investors. Very interesting topic. So let's get into it. And if you guys are enjoying the content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for the latest updates and the latest uploads for the latest content. Now, it looks like Ubisoft is in some more hot water. And if you haven't been tracking, if you're not into, any games or anything like that, and you just happen to stumble up on this channel, I talk a lot about games, comic books, things of that nature, pop culture, genres. And this one is talking about the gaming company Ubisoft. For those who are familiar, this is right up your alley, but it looks like there's a company and it's called AJ Investments. And this company actually owns less than 1% of Ubisoft's capital. However, they are a shareholder, and they're going to be suing Ubisoft for failing to disclose meetings with EA and Microsoft about potential IP acquisitions. Now, from what I understand, Ubisoft has a fiduciary responsibility to reveal any type of IPs that they're going to, or even being in the talks of potentially selling off IPs, because you have shareholders like AG Investments and other shareholders who are vested in whatever IPs that Ubisoft has. So the lawsuit itself claims that this lack of transparency is violating those shareholder rights, and AJ shareholders believes that Ubisoft's been misleading them about the company's financial health and future prospects. And I would say, because I've never been a shareholder of any company, so this is kind of, when it comes to the financial aspect of gaming companies or any type of company, I'm on the outside looking in. But for what I understand, because I watched The Big Short and I watched what was that other one with Jeremy Irons, Margin Call, and that gave me sort of a minute perspective, because again, even though it's The Big Short is based on a true story, not sure if Margin Call is based on a true story, but even though it's fiction, if it's fiction, it's still a fact of life because it deals with the stock market crash of 2008, housing market crash. I don't have much of inside information as it comes to the inner workings of transparency, shareholder investments, things of that nature. However, just from reading this article, just doing a little background research, they have, when a company's invested into your product, they have a right to know if you plan on selling off that product, because investors want to get a return on their investment, for which they have every right to demand. And if they find out that the shares are going down and the company's not revealing to the shareholders that they plan on selling off any type of IPs or just selling off the whole company, if they're not telling them, then that could be a breach of an agreement. So that's what AJ is, from what this report says, AJ Investments is alleging what Ubisoft is doing, especially with the secret meetings between EA and Microsoft. Now, I will say from a personal level, I don't really care. As I use a Microsoft software, I really don't care much for when Microsoft acquisitions things, because the track record of them having certain IPs that they purchase, and I'm trying to think of one more recently, is if you're into cybersecurity, there's this cyber threat intelligence company called Risk IQ, and they provided threat intelligence on hackers, people who do surreptitious and malicious things on people's networks. Well, this company, Risk IQ, will provide threat intelligence, profiling, threat actor behavior. They call it, in the cybersecurity realm, we call them threat actors. Non-associated individuals will call them hackers, because that's a term more widely known. But within the cybersecurity community, within the intelligence community, we call them threat actors. And we would get information on them and to determine what their behaviors might be, what they might be looking for, what type of direction of attack they're doing, like a direct, like a DDoS, if you ever heard of distributed denial of service attack, things, stuff like that. Microsoft ended up acquisitioning this company, and they still had the Risk IQ still had their website up. And I think after a while, I started going to the website to get in, threat intelligence information. And somehow I wasn't able to log on to the webpage. It was just gone. And I've been trying for months and months. This has been a while. Something a little more recent that I can remember. Microsoft acquisition the company. They just straight up killed the product. And I think they grafted it into what we now know is, I think it's called Microsoft Cyber Threat Intelligence or something like that. But to the point, Microsoft is an absorber and quite possibly a destroyer of products. They just take the products, gut it out. Kind of like you go to a junkyard and you just gut out the spare parts that you need for your car, Frankenstein it, and you're ready to go. And even I was even more recently, you had when Microsoft was trying to offer to buy Steam, that led into a huge uproar. And I was definitely not with that. A lot of gamers, and I would say probably 99.99999% of gamers were against that. Microsoft trying to acquisition Steam, because Microsoft, from at least from what some of us understand, has a reputation for just tanking companies and walking off as the ashes form. But again, this is why I think, in my opinion, why I think that would not be a great move, allowing Microsoft to get Ubisoft. Now, that's not to say that Ubisoft is doing so great, because, some of the games they come out with that just were a bunch of misses, especially with, some of the Assassin's Creed games that came out that were, I can't remember which ones were, but the ones that came out, I think Prince of Persia wasn't all that great. Matter of fact, I do have a list, but I'll pull it up in a second. But yeah, back to the lawsuit. So the lawsuit alleges that Ubisoft's failure to disclose these meetings could impact their decisions. What I was talking about earlier, and potential implications of these acquisitions, could be huge within the gaming industry. The reason why I say that is because we track a lot of this stuff. When we're gaming, we look at the company and how they're functioning in the company, and I can say from my own experience again that Ubisoft may not be doing what's best for them because of the dip in sales. So with them talking about, I would say allegedly, Ubisoft talking about selling off some of their IP without telling, again, allegedly, you got to preface with allegedly, because then it becomes accusation if you don't use that term. But at any rate, they're looking to sell off their IP without telling their investors. That could bode, I would say, even iller. And I don't know if that's a word, but iller, because they're already tanking in sales with the IPs that they have now. I'm talking top tier franchises like Rainbow Six, Far Cry, and again, Assassin's Creed. And I would even say Skull and Bones didn't do well. And I want to say Star Wars Outlaws, I think they did that one. I haven't played in these games. It's just the interest isn't there for me. So it's hard to keep up because you see a lot of AAA games just taking dives. So please forgive me if I'm not remembering what franchise Star Wars Outlaws is in. I didn't play the game, didn't really care for it. It seemed a lot illogical, so to speak. At least the game mechanics, game physics, just didn't appeal to me. Storyline didn't appeal to me. But it's Star Wars. Hopefully, they can recover from it. But at any rate, Ubisoft themselves, they haven't issued an official response to the lawsuit itself. Is a significant development, that's captured, a lot of gamers, like I was saying earlier. So this could highlight intense competition, consolidation happening within the gaming industry, as major players like EA and Microsoft, again, talking about, they might possibly be looking to obtain some or all the franchises of Ubisoft. Again, I just really hope it doesn't happen, because reasons, bigger, flip a coin and tell a reason. So this one is kind of relatively short, which is fine. But offering my opinion, I think, I don't know, probably I would say like and this is gonna sound facetious. I'm not trying to be mean. Probably come up with a better storyline than what they have currently. And it's hard for me to get into the details without making it sound political, because I try to be a non-political channel. I want to try to address it from an objective angle. I do have my political opinions, and you won't know them unless you ask me directly in person. But unfortunately, there are some politics involved in some, if not all, of the games that are within Ubisoft and across other gaming companies that we're seeing. Gamergate 2.0 is the elephant in the room. And yes, a lot of it's built off of politics, ideology, people's own preferences, canon versus subverting expectations, canon versus going another direction, canon versus insert agenda here. So you see a lot of that stuff, or people who are like doing these games, or even doing popular pop culture movies like Marvel Cinematic Universe. You have individuals who may not like the franchise at all, don't read comic books, or they never even studied the source material. And again, I'm one of those canon people. This is, if A has been working this well for this long, why switch to B? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's about as non-political statement as I'm gonna make, because again, people hold their political assertions very strongly, depending on whatever side or corner of politics you fall in. I think everybody wants a great storyline. I would hope so. But the question is what path to take, and how is that great storyline going to form? With Microsoft themselves, I said Microsoft. I got Microsoft on the brain, but Ubisoft themselves, they got some splaining to do with AJ, because this could be a snowball effect. Again, AJ's investments, AJ shareholder investments, they are again less than 1%, but that doesn't dismiss the fact that this could be a snowball effect. If the larger shareholders get wind of this, then they're going to start asking questions. Or at least I would think they would do their due diligence and ask why one of the shareholders is looking to file a lawsuit against Ubisoft. And if they get to the bottom of it, it may not bode well for Ubisoft. And we'll see it play out in real time, or 4K, as you young kids say. But we'll just find out. So hope this helps out you guys. Choose wisely in your video games. I tend to look at everybody else playing video games and watch their experience, and that a lot of times will determine if I decide to buy a game or not. Gamers have a lot of weight, because regardless of what people will tell you, the gaming industry is for the gamers. It's by the gamers, and it should be for the gamers. Again, that's my humble opinion, and I think that's the opinion of a lot of gamers. But I will say to my fellow gamers to be careful of being so nitpicky that we become fickle. But that seems to be it. And if you guys again are enjoying the content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for the latest updates on the latest uploads for latest content. This is Crime One signing off, and I'll talk to y'all later.